I want to take you back to a time before you most likely started suffering with your chronic condition. Your body was probably functioning effortlessly, and as a result, you most likely got on with everyday scenarios, completely unawares of things like diet or supplementation. And the reason for this is because you trusted your body to such an extent where none of these thoughts were at all necessary. However, the problem comes into play when you start to experience a chronic ailment, because what ends up happening is, for the first time in your life, your body begins to behave unpredictably, and it starts to create undesirable effects. And as a result, you start to panic, and it gains your conscious awareness. And then before you know it, what you're trying to do is consciously wrestle control over everything that your brain has automatically controlled with your body for the entirety of your life up to this very moment. You suddenly start to believe that you have the control over things like bacterial levels in your gut, heavy metals and toxins, whether or not you can filter them, certain mineral levels within your body, and all of these things get completely out of hand. And I had these exact same beliefs about 6 years ago when I was seeing a naturopath, and he told me to start taking all of these supplements, all of these herbs, all of these remedies, because something had an impact on some organ in the body. It would help to balance out certain levels, and ultimately it would help to give me my life back. But after a few months, and after spending close to £3,000 on this stuff, I realised that none of it had any long-term impacts on my body, and what ended up happening all the time was my body just kept reverting back to behaving how it was before. And then one day I finally stopped and took a step back to observe what I was actually doing and how crazy it seemed. And then what ended up happening was I ended up throwing away over 50 supplements. And the reason I ended up doing this was because I understood this very important information regarding the body. And that piece of information is that when we supplement, more often than not, what we're trying to do is trying to influence or directly target a symptom to try to fix it. However, the thing is, most symptoms are caused as a result of outputs that our brain is automatically creating. So when you understand that symptoms are just continuously being produced on an unconscious level by our central nervous system because it's our brain projecting to the organs in the rest of our body, you will understand that supplementing in attempt to directly fix these symptoms is the equivalent of deciding to sweep up the leaves beneath an oak tree and then being annoyed by the fact that the following day the leaves have just come straight back. It's a completely irrational solution to the problem. If you truly want to fix a symptom for the long term, the only way you're going to be able to do that is indirectly, by coming at the problem from a completely different angle. And that's what I talk all about in the Unbeatable Blueprint online course. In over 5 hours worth of content, I share with you why your chronic symptoms continue to manifest and the best approach you can take to achieve long-term alleviation from them. But basically, the main message that I want you to take away is that the majority of chronic symptoms are persisting in areas of our autonomic nervous system, and this is a system that's being unconsciously controlled by our brain from the outputs that it's continuously sending down, certain commands to get certain organs to behave in a certain way. And this isn't a system that we can actually access directly. The only way that we can truly experience long-term changes and benefits within our autonomic nervous system is by accessing it indirectly via our somatic sensory division of our peripheral nervous system. We want to be able to identify dysfunctions within this part of our nervous system, then fine-tune and train those dysfunctions so that we have more coordinated information coming into our body, up to our brain, so that our brain in turn can know what to do with the organs in the rest of our body. But yeah, I wanted to make this video ultimately for my younger self, when I was trapped in this line of thought, thinking that I could chase after all of these individual symptoms and fix them via supplementation, and it ended up setting me back thousands of pounds. And what it ends up being is a very expensive and frustrating way of desperately trying to resolve the problem that's going on within your body. But ultimately, when you learn this information, you realize that this is an impossible way to try to get long-term alleviation from your chronic symptoms. It's because those symptoms are basically just a reflection of the way your body is taking in external information, processing it, and then your brain is relaying that information to the rest of your body.